Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening from any part of the world. This is Tony HP, and thank you all so much for being here today. In today's video, I'm going to talk about an important subject that unfortunately isn't talked about a lot in the disability world, not only the autism community, but in other communities of people with disabilities. We know that we focus on talking about helping people with disabilities get the skills necessary to have a more independent life. In the case of autism, which I'm going to talk about specifically today, there's been a focus on helping people with autism to improve their social skills and their vocational skills and other independent living skills. But and there have been organizations and companies that have focused on those areas. How can people with autism can improve their verbal skills, their communication skills, their how to communicate better with other people, and how to improve their behavior. They're taking different types of therapy. Different types of therapy for people with autism. But there's one skill that people with autism, and not only people with autism, but people with disabilities must learn to do in order to not necessarily just be successful, but to have a much better life, is how to deal with our finances, how to work and manage our finances effectively and efficiently. So I'm going to talk about a method in which I learned from my personal development stories, studies, and in fact, even this goes way back to history in terms of a way to deal with your finances effectively and efficiently. There was this book that I read years ago called The Richest Man in Babylon. This book was recommended to me by one of my mentors in the personal development area. His name was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn mentioned that book was one of the first books that helped him, it helped him and achieve and become financially free in a couple of years. This talk about principles that you can apply that would help you achieve your financial goal. And the principle that I'm going to talk about today is the 70-10-10 rule. 70-10-10-10 rule. And the 70-10-10-10 rule is a principle that you use in order to handle manage your not only to just manage your finances, but most important, it will help you achieve your financial goals. If you're thinking about achieving financial freedom, this is one principle that is out there that can help you achieve financial freedom. And the 70-10-10-10 principle is as simple as the following. And I'm going to tell you the way that I follow it. For every dollar, every dollar that you have, every dollar that you earn, you save, you divide that dollar into percentages. Let me be clear. You have a dollar, right? And you have a dollar to spend. But instead of spending that dollar 100%, what you're going to do is you're going to spend no more than 70% of each dollar that you earn. So, in other words, the 70-10-10-10 principle is that you spend no more than 70% of your income. I'll repeat. The 70-10-10-10 principle is that you will not spend no more than 70% of every dollar that you earn. No more, and the problem is that most people in our society, we spend way over 70%. We spend around 99-98%, and we barely have little to save. But under this principle, you're not going to spend more than 70% of every dollar that is earned. And then, that's clear, okay? And then the 10-10-10, the other 10 percentages. And what you're going to do is that for 10% of every dollar that you earn, you're going to save. I repeat, and 10%, 10% of every dollar that you earn, you are going to save. You're going to save your money. Put money into your savings account. You're going to save money, and not only you're going to put that money to your savings account, you're not going to spend it. You're going to make that money grow. So that's what you're going to do with 10%. 10% of every dollar, and then on the other 10%, you're going to use it for investments. You're going to put money into an account that is going to be used only for investments. So, as I said, it's just like the money that you put in the savings account. You're going to put, that other 10%, you're going to put it into investment account, and you're not going to spend it until you have reached a high level of, the right level of money. So that way, you're able to use it for investments only. So we got that. And then last but not least, the other 10% of that you're going to use of every, that you're going to save for every dollar that you earn, you're going to put it to charity. That 10%, you're going to, use that money to give back to the community, basically. And, it's just like, if you go to a church, you give your 10% of, you give money to the church every time you go to church on Sunday. Something similar to that. So you're gonna, for 10% of that dollar that you earn, is gonna go towards the charity of your choice. In my case, it will, whether it's non-profit organizations, deal with a specific cause, very close to your heart. In my case, I not only donate money to autism organizations, but I also do it to other non-profit organizations contribute to other causes. So that's what it is for. It's to get that 10% goes towards charity. So to be clear, the way if you want to achieve your financial goal, this is one great principle that has been used by some of the most successful people in the world that can help you achieve your financial freedom goal, especially for people with disability. This is something that you can use, the principle that you can use that will help you have a much better financial life, achieve and handle your finances much better. So I'll repeat it to make sure that we're clear. The 70-10-10-10 rule. For every dollar that you earned, don't spend more than 70% of every dollar that you earn. Don't spend more than 70%. 10% of that dollar, you're going to put that money into a savings account. The other 10% of that dollar that you earn, you're going to put it into an investment account. And the other 10% of that money that you earn, you're going to donate it to charity. So, and the way I do it, to make it more simple, is that every paycheck that I get, I get paid biweekly. Every paycheck that I get, I'm not going to spend no more. I'm going to spend no more than 70% of that paycheck. 10% of that paycheck is going to go to savings. 10% of that paycheck is going to go to investment account, and 10% of that paycheck is going to go to charity. I repeat, for that paycheck that I receive, I'm not going to spend more than 70% of it. I'm going to save 10% of that paycheck. I'm going to send money for investments, 10%, and last but not least, 10% of that paycheck, another 10% of that paycheck is going to go towards charity. Does that make sense? Whether you get paid monthly, it is the same principle. Don't spend more than 70% of your monthly paycheck, and save 10%. Save 10% of that paycheck, invest 10% of that paycheck, and send money to charity 10% of that monthly paycheck. So that's a great principle a great principle to apply that will help you achieve your financial goal, which in other words can help you achieve a greater life. So I want to share this principle with families that have kids and adults with disabilities. I would like to share this with adults that have disabilities, so that way they can apply this principle regardless of where they are right now in their life. All right. So if you have any questions or there was something that I was not clear with, please write down your comments below. Share this video with other people. This is a principle that I learned from the richest man in Babylon. So if you are interested in reading that book, please look for that book on Amazon. It's at a great price. So please share this video with everybody that you know. Please, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, any comments, we'll keep in contact, okay? So thank you all so much for being here today. And have a great day. This is Tony HP, and I'm signing out. Bye-bye.